Welcome back to GetBy. Today we're exploring the ferryport in Split, a popular tourist destination with a great connection to nearby islands. You'll see where the ferryport is located, how to get there, as well as how to get from there to other parts of the city, how many piers there are, and what facilities are available. First of all, the ferryport is located very close to the old town. The address is Gat Svetog Duje 1, and as you can see, Riva, Diocletian's palace, and all the other reasons why you're visiting Split are basically just a few steps away. The ferryport has 3 piers, Gat Svetog Nikole, Gat Svetog Petra, and Gat Svetog Duje, and it stretches from Riva all the way down. The southern part of the port is only about 3 to 4 minutes walk from the popular Bačvice beach. In case you're getting to Split by bus and continuing your journey straight to one of the islands, you'll be happy to know that the bus station and the ferryport are really close. So close, in fact, that they are separated by only one road. In addition, the train station is really close as well, right next to the bus station. As far as transportation is concerned, there are several options to choose from. The first one is the easiest one, but also the most expensive one. Of course, I'm talking about taxis, Uber, or Bolt. There are 2 taxi stands near the ferryport. One is located near Gat Svetog Nikole and the other is between the train station and the bus station. If you're looking for a more economical way of transportation, there are local buses that can take you to pretty much any part of the city. The bus stop is located at the roundabout, across from the ferryport. However, keep in mind that during the summer months there are heavy traffic jams in this area. So if you're going to the ferryport and don't have a lot of luggage, it might be a better idea to hop off the bus one stop earlier. That is on Pazar. Every bus that goes to the ferryport first stops at Pazar. As I mentioned before, Split Ferryport has 3 piers. Gat Svetog Duje is the most southern pier, separated from the canal by a breakwater. The first thing you'll notice, other than car ferries, is the Aerolínea building. There is an info board in the covered outdoor area in front of the building. Here you can find all the information about the upcoming ferry departures and the berths they're departing from. Also, inside the building there's a waiting room as well as numerous other facilities, but we'll talk about that in a bit. On the southern side of the pier, there's a large parking lot as well as a large area where cars wait to board the cart ferries. Currently, there are 2 berths on Gat Svetog Duje serving international ferries to and from Ancona, Italy. Also, most cruise ships arriving to Split during summer usually dock on this pier as well. Just a 3 minutes walk away, there is Gat Svetog Petra, located in the middle of the ferryport. This is where TP line ferries usually depart from, but it's always good to check that beforehand just to be sure. You will find that information on your ticket or on the info board. That being said, there's a big info table right in front of the pier, just like the one in front of Gat Svetog Duje. As you can see, there is no waiting area here, but there are benches along the promenade as well as several really nice cafes just across the street. Gat Svetog Nikole is the closest to Riva, Pazar, and the Old Town. That is where the Port Authority is, and that is where fast ferries to Bol and Hvar usually depart from. These are usually krilo catamarans, and their lines depart from this pier, but like I said before, we suggest to check that information in advance. Just like Gat Svetog Petra, Gat Svetog Nikole doesn't provide a lot of shade either, so sunscreen and a hat are necessities. Luckily, there is a cafe really close by so you can sit down and get a refreshing drink while you're waiting. Due to possible crowds, I suggest you arrive at least half an hour before your departure. Also, if you're taking a fast ferry, arriving early means you have a better chance of getting a window seat. And trust me, with a coast like Croatia's, you'll want a window seat. As far as car ferries are concerned, things are a bit more tricky. That is, there is only so many cars the ferry can fit. So if you're not there early enough, you might not be able to board and you'll have to wait for the next ferry. You can get ferry tickets in the ferryport, but in that case, I suggest you arrive even earlier. Because Split has great connections to nearby islands such as Brac and Hvar, crowds are expected. Planning ahead really pays off, especially when it comes to catching a ferry. By grabbing your ticket early, you can skip those long lines and avoid waiting in the unbearable heat. If you're looking for a simple way to check out ferry times and departures, you might find everything you need with the GetBy app. It's all about making your travel smoother and letting you enjoy more of your trip. As far as facilities are concerned, Splitferryport offers plenty. Since the ferryport is stretched, walking from one end to the other could take up 10 to 15 minutes, especially if you're carrying a lot of luggage. That's why it's best to check from which berth your ferry departs and stay in that area. As I mentioned before, on Gat Svetog Duje, inside the Aerolínea building, there is a large waiting area. There are vending machines, ATMs, a public toilet that's free of charge, and a kiosk. In addition, right outside the building, you'll find another kiosk, a cafe, a small supermarket, and luggage storage. Gat Svetog Petra offers the least amount of facilities, but right across the street, you'll find several cafes, fast food restaurants, ATMs, and luggage storage. And finally, Gat Svetog Nikole, the closest one to the old town, has a cafe pretty much on the pier itself. Within just a 2-minute walk, you can find a kiosk, several restaurants, and a public toilet. However, this one is not free of charge, so make sure you have some coins. Also, Pazar is really close, and there you can find literally everything, from souvenirs to fresh groceries. And this concludes our tour of Splitferryport. If you have any questions, write to us in the comments. We wish you a safe trip, fair winds, and following seas.